Hey guys, it's Becca, and this week is Favorite Books Week, and I'm actually quite excited about this. Even though I'm not a big reader, and I've never really been a big reader, I have been very lucky to have read books throughout my life that have really, had an impact on my life and allowed me to read these incredible stories and to explore my imagination and to just appreciate good literature. Let's get into it. Um, let's start with childhood favorites. So I have two books, well, yeah, that I just love and adore, and I don't know where I would be without them. One is the Madeline series. Madeline. I love Madeline. Okay, I have loved her since I was a little girl. I was obsessed with those books. I read them every single day. I could probably sit here and quote them to you, but that would be weird. But I just fell in love with the story. I fell in love with the movie. I fell in love with the characters, and I loved everything about it. I mean, I can't explain it. It just made my childhood so happy. I could not sit here and talk about childhood books without mentioning the Harry Potter series. I mean, it would be wrong if I didn't talk about how much I love those books and how much that story just, you know, made my childhood amazing and made it okay to use your imagination and to explore new worlds. So here's how this book came into my life. So, we had a friend who worked at a bookstore when I was about 11 years old, and she brings it over to the house, and I see it on the counter, and it's this like dorky guy with a lightning scar on a broomstick, and I'm like, what is this madness? And she's like, no, 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 you need to read this book. It's so good. You will love it. And I'm like, okay. So I read it, and sure enough, she was right. And I fell in love with the story. I fell in love with the characters, and I just wanted to know more about these people in this world. And I loved it, and I love the movies. I love the, everything about it. I mean, this series basically like kind of represents my childhood. Like when I think of my childhood and my middle school years, I think of Harry Potter. All right, so now one of my favorite books that I've read, it's not really a book, it's a play, but you know what? Whatever, is Our Town by Thornton Wilder. And this, reading this, like changed my life. Like Emily Webb is my dream role. I would like just burst into happiness and tears if I was able to play her. And what I love about this play, sorry, is that it goes in stages, and it's about love and life and death, and it goes through the different stages of how these characters kind of evolve and grow up. And the way that it's set up in the play is that it's a very simple set. There's literally just chairs, there's nothing else, and it's still probably one of the most captivating things I've ever read, and I love it. And it is something that I read when I was in high school, and I've loved it ever since. And if you've never read this play, you should. It's in 3 acts. It's amazing. And it's very relatable. It's very relatable to, you know, like growing up and, being in love for the first time and having, and all that lovely jazz. All right, so another book that I read when I was in high school was The Kite Runner, and I loved this book. And I kept hearing so many things about it, and it was just an incredible story, and it was just beautifully written. It takes place in Afghanistan and during when the Soviets took over, and it's stars, and it's about these like two friends, one who is very rich and one who is a servant to them, and the father instills in his son that, you know, just because you are rich and you have money does not make you better than anybody else. And it shows the deep bond that these two kids had, and how they were basically like brothers, and how, you know, one moment in one person's life can change, you know, everything. And it was just such a captivating story. And I actually have the sequel to it. It's called A Thousand Splendid Suns by the same author. And I haven't gone around to reading this. I've had it for a while, and I want to read it, and I will read it eventually, and I will get to it, and then I will talk about it. But this is just, it's just very captivating, what he can write, and it's just beautiful. It's a beautiful story. And I actually also saw the movie. They made the Kite Runner into a movie, and again, like it was a great film, and so I recommend reading the book and seeing the movie, and they're both amazing. Now we're gonna get to, honestly, probably one of my favorite books I've ever read ever in the history of life, and that would be The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. This book, I'm telling you, like, is just the best thing ever. And at first, I had no idea what it was, because I kept hearing all these people on YouTube and in life talking about it, and I'm like, what is The Fault in Our Stars? What does that even mean? So I looked it up on YouTube. I saw the trailer for the movie, and I'm like, I'm in love. I need to read this book. And so I borrowed the book from a friend, and I read it in a month, which is rare, which never happens. And so I read it, and I fell in love with the story. And I also have the movie on DVD, which I watch and I cry all the time because it's amazing. And I've also read a few of his other books as well. I read Paper Towns, which is an amazing book. It's a, you know, coming of age story. It's like finding who you are. They're just about, and it's just amazing. And then he wrote Looking for Alaska, which was okay. It wasn't my favorite. And I still haven't read An Abundance of Catherines yet. But I know he wrote those 4 books. But if I'm going to recommend any books of John Green's to read, I would say The Fault in Our Stars and like Paper Towns, which they're also making into a movie, which is coming out on July 24th, I think. And I'm so excited, and I can't wait. And it's going to be amazing. Another book, I think this is the last one on my list, is a book called Wonder. And this book is a book that, if you are, I guess, in like an education setting, I think, or just in general, it's a book that you should read. It's about this boy named August, or Augie, as his family calls him, and he is born with a disfigured face. And it's basically his journey into going to school for the first time at the age of like 9, I think he is. And there's like the book is divided into like several sections or parts, and each section is told through somebody's point of view. So it's told through like August's point of view, and then his mom, and then his sister, and then his friends, and you get to hear everybody's perspective on, you know, a similar scene that was described by him. So it's really powerful, and I think that you know, it's just one of those books that it's a quick read. It's very simply written, but it's very quick in that, you know, you'll finish it fast, and it just really makes you, you know, think, and it really is very thought-provoking, and I really like it. So those are it on my list. I wrote them all down somewhere. So if I missed any, I apologize. But yeah, those are some of my favorite books. And in the comments below, what are some of your favorites? What books have you enjoyed reading, and what and if there's any book recommendations that you have, you know, write it on down. I'll take a look at it. Why not? So don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel, as well as our individual channels. And until next time, bye!